Hello everyone, where are we at? Wednesday?
Wednesday.
I know I say that every time, but boy golly, the days just get mixed up, which shows us that we need a little bit more time to play to create, right? Because life goes by so quickly. I am here with Madison.
Hello.
Who is my daughter.
Yeah.
But she also is the one that does the social media, Instagram account, Facebook account, and such over here.
Pinterest. I'm all over the internet.
So she's helping us out for the time being. And I, of course, when we were making the crafting schedule, I said, why don't you do a fun idea
Being the lovely person that she is.
bullet journaling. I don't know if this is something that you guys have, if you've been into bullet journaling, please let us know in the comments. I would love to see which of you are interested in it.
Yeah, it's been something I've been into for the past 3-ish years, which has been a super fun journey of you know, everyone starts off a little rough.
Right.
But the cool thing about this is it's actually a very simple organizational system, which I figured out could also be an art form.
Right. And
which is super fun.
Of course, as a mother, I'm like, journaling in any of that form, but I love that it's her creative outlet.
It is.
So she's kind of teaching me slowly how to do it, and like she said, it's a great way to kind of keep order, but also have that creative expression added into it.
Which is kind of like scrapbooking when you think about it, because it's like a way to organize and remember things, but also it's fun and cute and all that stuff.
Yes. So she took on the project to take this free printable,
which is so cute, by the way,
that we have over on our blog that Amy used in a different form. She did it in a different way. We introduced this in January for the new year for goal setting or whatever.
Yeah.
Layouts. It can be used on your layouts. I want to see it really cute on layouts.
Yeah, it was really fun, and I loved the colors, so I kind of was inspired there. Yeah. But, so you guys are hopping on. Hello.
But it was also perfect for the need and for bullet journaling. So let's see what you got going on.
So again, I was kind of inspired. So this is, again, bullet journaling is a way to organize, but if for those who are extreme like myself, it can be a way to art form. But at its core, it is just a way to get your life together. So this is what I call a month page, my monthly layout. I have my cover page, which introduces March, which is next week, which is crazy to think about. And then on my other side, I put goals, events, and this is kind of my expense tracker at the beginning. So that's just something I do every month. But every month is like a different theme almost. So going with that, I had this to inspire me, which was super fun to play around with. I loved the colors, so I kind of went from there.
And then you picked your colors to go like kind of with it, right?
And so these are my markers that I use. So I have these on the side. These are the markers I've had for 3 years, and they haven't given out on me yet, which is really great. And this is a Tombow marker that I got for Christmas, which I've been loving and been using a lot as well.
What was the brand of the other ones that you have?
These
Everyone
are
loves to know.
Lamome, I think. Lamome sketch markers. Again, have been used for the past 3 years on almost a daily basis, so they're kind of getting rubbed up. But they're Lamome sketch markers, and I got these off of Amazon. I'll try to find the link after, and I'll try to link it. But yeah, and then these are, I never know how to say this, Faber Castell artist pens. I got this from Hobby Lobby. Okay. They have a whole pen, which is awful. Never go down that aisle, because I always come out with like
that's how people feel about the
three to five pens that I really don't need. And I have that color sort of at home. It's just like a different shade, but I always convince myself that I need it. So yeah. So those are the pens I use.
So tell us more about bullet journaling.
Okay, so again, there's a YouTube video that I watched with Dad that explained it. At its core is a way for you to waterfall your intentions for the week, for the month. Okay. So on a grand scale, you start with a year. So here, I'll just show you a little bit. So at a grand scale, you start with a year. Again, I haven't filled it. I go month by month just so I don't overwhelm myself. So you start with a year look. You kind of plan ahead just so you, again, have a way to organize a thing so you can focus on what matters at the moment, but also understand that there's stuff that we need to be focused on in the future. So you start with a year, and then after that you go to a month, and then after that you go into a week. So this is just a weekly spread I did last week. And this is just a way of organizing where it's very personal to you, and you can personalize it yourself, but it's also a way that you can, you know, kind of plan ahead, and on a daily level hold yourself accountable, but just stay organized. For me, I think I get this from my mother of I'm always thinking to the future. I'm always having these like 5-year plans, and then
you're so funny.
And I never really like focused on the right now.
Yes,
I'm always in the future and never getting past the present.
You have big goals to get to where you want.
So bullet journaling is just a way I can acknowledge the future while still staying grounded in the present, and kind of focus on what needs to get done today.
Well, I love to, like, so just to give a sense, and those of you that are bullet journaling, we want to show you how you can use the designer templates in the bullet journaling process. It's super fun. And as creators or paper crafters, most likely you have a lot of the necessities, like markers and paper. Like, she goes through my paper scraps all the time.
I use Kiwi templates here too, which
the tags,
which was super fun and simple.
Yeah. But then she, of course, the bullet journaling has a lot of dots in here so that you can create these little diagrams.
It's grid spacing, which I like just because for drawing references and such.
So sometimes she doodles and draws, and sometimes she adds other textures and elements into her layout design. And I love that they're using a layout design too, because that's a term we use all the time.
When I go on Pinterest to look for, I go Bujo layout inspiration.
Bujo, B-O-J-O.
B-U-J-O.
Oh, sorry.
That's the acronym.
It's short for bullet journaling, right? And so this is something either you want to work into, or for those of you that are already fans, we want to spotlight, use your designer templates in your Bujo
bullet journaling
layouts, and it's super fun.
And I will say, if you're a scrapbooker and want to be a bullet journal, it is a great way to use scraps, because it's a smaller,
or card maker, or all the above. So keep showing us. She of course used that, and then when I saw her using the designer templates on it,
she's like, "Oh, you're gonna do that for live?" And I was like,
said,
"Oh yeah,
so
you guys aren't here, but like, I'm shaking,"
which
is so funny, and it's so bad.
You're good. You're doing great.
But so I'll show you the templates I use, and these are templates that I usually go back to on a regular basis, just because I don't know why. I feel like they're well built for the size.
They are. The doodle sheets and the journaling feature on the accessory sets are really great.
Yeah. So I used captions too, and I like to use captions a lot for a lot of different things, just because I like the size and the fun and stuff. I don't. Yeah. But I used Caption 2 for this.
That worked great with
great for this printable, and I just cut those out, and I inked the edges and kind of.
I really want to do a layout with that free printable.
It would be so fun.
It's so cute. And that blog link, by the way, for the free printable is up in the description.
Yes.
Yes.
So I used captions for these, and then I also had so much fun in the doodle sheet. Again, if you're a journaler at all, I know someone mentioned Bible journaling, which is something I love to do as well. These are great. They're just like a fun way to just add a little detail into any margins and such. So
like if you're doing scriptures, you'll have to use different markers and stuff. But
and if you know that. So I used this one right here, and what fun thing I did is I layered it a little bit to give it almost like a
shadow.
Yeah, a shadow, just kind of give it a little bit of layer.
3D dimension.
Yeah, and I did that on a couple. I didn't want to do it on all of them, just because I didn't want to overwhelm it too much. I think this is something that I've also learned. If you look at my first bullet journal, it's like page to page, everything's filled. Empty space. I feel like empty space.
You're spreading it out.
Yeah, I think it's something I hear my mom talk about too when scrapbooking.
Yep.
It's okay to have empty space, and so I think in the end, that's kind of what happens.
It's easier to process what's going on.
And then I also used the doodle sheet I used this one right here for this pen. Like, it's almost like a board, like a sticky note on your board, your like goals and events. And then this is just, again, an expense tracker. So this is the great thing about bullet journaling that I really love, is it's very personable. So I know a lot of people who don't do expense trackers because that's not something they're worried about yet. It's something I never did in my first 1.5 bullet journals.
Or they have another process for that specifically.
But I got to a point in my life where I was like, I'm making money. but I'm also spending a lot of it. So this kind of helps me keep me accountable just in spending and my saving goals and making sure I know where my money's going, and just making sure I'm more intentional about how I'm spending that. And also, I'll just show you, this is a habit tracker for me. I like kind of just not like, again, this is the intention of it all. For a habit tracker, I wanted to have daily habits, but I also, it's more about just, how do I phrase this? About knowing what you're doing in a month, because months go by so quickly, and I feel like when I make a goal, for example, I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule right now, and making sure I get more sleep, and if I make a 30-day goal, that can just disappear so fast and I made no progress because I have nothing telling me that I'm making progress in the middle of it, and I just want to be at the end. So this habit tracker has really helped me in the sense that, like, I get enough sleep on the 1st, I get enough sleep on the 5th, but by the end of the month, I can see all the progress I've made in that specific habit that I wanted to improve.
I love that.
So yeah, and then I have a whole bunch of other personal layout designs that are personal to me and goals I've made. This is just really a great companion to me as a goal maker, as well as a person who needs organization.
You want to test your creativity and this is kind of her like tipping her toes, and eventually she'll just come right on to scrapbooking. But
she hopes, at least. It'll happen at some point.
She does it all the time. Once in a while you come in and join me. But
yeah, I have like a little 6x6 that I started like
6x6 album
3 or 4 years ago, and I haven't touched in a while.
But hopefully this has inspired you guys. If you are a bullet journaling, or you know somebody that does like to bullet journaling, hopefully they'll find these designer templates very useful in this kind of medium as well. I know that she's always pulling on them. She's always coming in and saying, can I use this, Mom? Can I use this? And I'm like, oh, okay. They're so versatile in their usage and just different things. But, you know, and to just see it in action. And of course, the free printable is a lot of fun, to make sure to grab that for whatever project you might have used for that project or that printable. But you often search like Pinterest for layout design.
So for example, for my themes, for my art themes for each month, that's usually where I go, and I usually pull it just from images or other people's layouts. For this, I just found a card that someone had made.
Yes.
With like the mixtapes on it, and I thought it was so cute.
So that was a funny comment Linda said. Linda said, I'm proud of you for using cassettes. Not too many young people even know what they are. Yeah,
I like the cassette mixtapes. I thought it was so cute, and for everyone who used you, I'm about retro.
I wish you would have brought down your first one. You know, Daisy saying she's watching it with her granddaughter, and her daughter, I don't know how old your granddaughter is, Daisy, but she's very interested. I think, if anything, when we want to start something new.
I will go grab it. You
okay,
hold it.
I'll keep talking.
I'll just show you how much.
Whenever we want to start something new, sometimes we have this habit, right, of judging someone's, judging our beginning to someone's middle or to somebody's end to progress. And with anything that we create in any form, of course, here at Kiwi Lane, we want you to have fun. We want you to invite play into the process, to just enjoy the journey as you go through it, and reap the rewards that come from allowing yourself to play, to create. And anyway, so I just asked her to go get her first one, because it's so important that, of course, like, you know, to not judge or to compare, because it's a process, and anything, like, all is a process. And she was completely brand new to bullet journaling. It's not something I did. It caught her attention. She then, of course, was like, I'm going to use your designer templates in some of them. And I was like, okay. And of course, then she pulls in other things, but she's learned what layout form she likes and which ones work from her from month to month.
And I still play around with it. And that's
like
the thing,
different designs.
You're allowed to grow and change with bullet journaling.
Well, you're allowed to grow and change with anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So here's her first one.
So this is my very first one. My dad got me this when I showed interest, being the great dad that he is. And every time I show any hint of interest in anything, he's like, okay, we're about to go spend a whole bunch of money on this. So,
David is great about that.
But this is my first, and it started out, again, I decided to spend a little more money, investment
in the book itself.
Into the book itself. Again, you can see that this is more of like a yellowish page, which I decided I didn't like. But after I finished it up, I decided to do a little research into
Yeah.
to that. But this is
So
my
you kept
first
it kind
one.
of basic. You worked on your different things. Washi tape.
Yeah,
I
and
told her,
so
I said, honestly, I don't use my washi tape at
And
all.
so she
you
let
could
me
have
use
a lot of it.
on blank pages, I decided to do quotes. Again, this is expense trackers when I decided I should really start. Again, this is the very beginning of when I started, and you see crafting. And this is when I first discovered bullet journaling and just decided to spend all of my money
And
on it.
sometimes you're better at going back and tracking it, and sometimes you're not. But the trick is just next month, start again.
So this is when I was a junior.
It makes you mindful, and I think that's good.
I was a junior in high school, and yeah, so I started with like single pages. I decided it wasn't enough room, and so I just, at some point, I just
started to do spreads.
I started to do 2 pages, where 1 week was 2 pages instead of 1 week was just the 1 page. And I started getting a little more artsy with it at some point, doing more doodles. So it's kind of fun to see just the brave. I got a little bit more brave with it and playing around with it and allowing myself to just
try.
This was one of my favorites.
Try things differently. Yeah, absolutely.
So again, you can kind of see.
They look great.
This is my first. I started in September, and then by the end, I kind of had that fun of again empty space, using more space.
Yeah, and I love that. So like she writes like again, depending on what pages speak to you, she has an inspiration page, and she has like scriptures, and then sometimes she'll write like personal journal notes, right?
I also recently started doing recipes, and my favorite recipes. Here, I'll try to find one.
No, it's
favorite recipes
And then she just said, like, she laid them all together, right?
Yeah.
And this is how we do our albums, too. And we're like, oh,
look
like,
at
seeing
that.
all the, and of
This
course,
is 3 years.
it creates reflection. Just
It
like
does.
going back and looking
A lot
through
of
and seeing your
reflection.
progress, seeing your story in whatever form that
If I
may
sat
be.
down for like a whole couple hours, I could explain every thought process that went into each layout and what mental state I was in and what I was struggling with.
That's because of the tangibility.
Hand, that is something I agree with 100%. The hand to paper is different.
Well,
than
that's how I
anything
feel
else
like
get.
when I scrapbook a memory, then I see that layout and it takes me back to that memory because it's logged into my brain more deeper than as if I just lived the memory and forgot the memory. It lives longer, and so that's awesome. So
yeah. No, it's really great. Thank you guys for reading the comments. You guys are so kind.
So hopefully that inspires you. Or again, if you are bullet journaling already, then this is a little reminder to pull out your designer templates and use them in your bullet journaling as well. And or if you've been looking for a way or trying new things, because we always have to try different things that speak to us. It's been fun to watch her do things. And I have also bought my own bullet journaling now, so I'm gonna give it a try.
In a very selfish way, it makes me very happy that I'm better than my mom at something. I'm like, you keep your scrapbooking.
Listen, it's no competition.
No, because...
But I love it, and as long as, of course, like all things, if it brings you joy and fulfillment and purpose and meaning, and of course, I think that's the reaction of anything that we do with when we allow play to create come in. So. All right, enjoy your guys' rest of the day. Thanks for tuning in with us. We'll check in later and let us know. Share with us in the comments or over on our community page. If this is something that you give a try, we'd love to see it. We'd love to celebrate with you any accomplishments you make as you finish something, and use hashtag Create with Kiwi Lane. And we do a drawing each month just based off of sharing with us and allowing each of us to be inspired by each other. So thanks, take care, and we'll tune in tomorrow for another fun crafting event. So we'll see you then.
See you guys.
Bye now.
Bye.